Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of Entertainment Expansion. We are your hosts, Tyler Gallian and Mike Ferrante. Mike, as always, how are you doing?
I am chilling, Tyler. How are you?
I'm doing well. Well, pretty well. Not as good as, well, let me rephrase that. I'm doing better than Warner Brothers is this year. Let me say
Yeah,
that.
that's for damn sure.
So we are
Uh,
talking,
they have us all reminiscing about the movies they used to make. That's for damn sure.
I mean, like 2 years ago with Joker.
Yeah, actually.
Yeah, we're talking about their latest movie, Reminiscence, starring Hugh Jackman. Um, what looked to be a fantastic noir movie set in a slightly futuristic world where climate change has actually wrecked all of our shit, has become the box office record of worst opening in any movie that opened above 3,000 theaters ever. So yeah, Warner Brothers is quietly just moving past this, but hey, the movie exists. We both watched it on HBO Max, which we didn't really help the box office in this case, but hey, it is what it is.
We're helping out those HBO numbers, though.
Yeah, we've been long-term subscribers.
Yep. Listen,
uh,
they got products. We'll probably watch it.
hey, they got us for Zack Snyder's Justice League. I think we've done our part.
Yep, pretty much.
But yeah, Mike, what'd you think of the movie?
Well, see, I didn't have as high hopes as you did for this movie. The trailers never really pulled me in.
See, I thought the
Uh,
trailer had fantastic editing. Thought it worked, and actually made me excited for it.
yeah, I never really got that. As you know, we talked prior to watching the movie, and I was never too thrilled on it. Like I was gonna watch it, but it's not like something like, oh yeah, I can't fucking wait to see this shit. Nah. But even though I did not have high hopes for it, it still let me down. And that's saying something. Overall though, movie acting was pretty good throughout the movie. That wasn't the issue. At least for me, I feel like the ending is what killed it. But they did a beautiful job creating this world without really having any backstory to it whatsoever. The set design, everything was on point. Like it was all believable in this near future where global warming kind of took over. And so the ice caps melted, everything started to flood. So you had cities, the lower class areas were pretty much flooded out. And boat travel was a lot more common. In some of the nicer parts of the city, there was still flooding on the roads, but there were cars. And then you have the super rich that lived in elevated dams, essentially, which only pushed the water further back to the lower class, creating their problem or making their problem even worse. So I think set design was amazing. And the history they built of this near future was pretty perfect. I don't have any complaints about that.
Yeah, we'll get to the ending in a few minutes because that seems to be that's the breaking point for you.
Oh, yeah.
I have other thoughts about the ending, but for the most part, I do agree with you. I thought the set design for a movie that's budgeted to be around 60 to 70 million, like it's a perfect mid-tier budget, but it's not like a big blockbuster. I thought the set designs were great. I thought Hugh Jackman, Rebecca Ferguson, I thought the acting was good. And I liked the layout of the movie. Like the first 30 minutes when they do
Yeah.
the switch.
Yeah, that twist, that was a good twist. I wasn't expecting it to happen then.
Yeah, like it definitely pulled you into the story. At least the first third of it pulls you in. But I would say toward the back half is where they start to lose me a little bit. And if anything, an issue I would bring up with the film early on is by the end of it, I kind of wanted to see more about the world itself than this case.
Yeah.
The perfect example is the war. So in this version of our planet, climate change happened. There was a war that happened because of it. Shock. Hugh Jackman and other people around him were part of it. But they always talk about the bad stuff that happened there and the dark stuff. I want to see that movie.
Yeah, that'd be a
And
lot more interesting.
toward the end, I didn't really care about the case itself, which I think is an issue. That I mean, it's a good issue to have, but they built up the world so much that I started to lose interest in these characters.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought overall it's a decent movie. It is not the great noir movie I was hoping for. Like I will give you that. I'm not going to be here singing its praises, but I feel where we differ is I didn't mind the ending. I didn't mind
I,
the ending.
okay. We're gonna have a
Well,
lot of fun when we talk about that.
oh, let's get to it now because we're kind of in agreement on what's good about the movie. I mean, my main issue is they did the world building so well it hurts the movie to a point.
Yeah.
But now there's a few parts there's a few parts to the ending, depending on what you count as the ending. Let's get more specific. What did you have an issue with the ending?
Just how it kind of ended. Like, yeah, Hugh Jackman ended up torturing a guy through the reminiscent machine, which I got to be honest, we never really talked about at all. So for anyone who hasn't watched it, in this future, there's basically a machine that Hugh Jackman is the captain of, if you will, that he can recall memories. And there's two different ways. Like, there's a 3D model and a 2D model. So the 2D model is like your classic movie, basically on a projector screen, and you can relive those memories. Whereas the 3D model pulls it up into a basically three-dimensional world. So he's kind of the owner of this business. He gets contracted by, law enforcement, the DA's office, just
Well, we should
regular
also
people.
throw in the reason why he gets contracted so much by them is that during the war, this is how they would get information from
Correct.
people they capture. So toward the end, he was actually one of the people most proficient at this job.
Yes.
So obviously for actual crimes, he would be very useful. But continue.
So that's a little bit of backstory on what this is. So it's basically a movie about him reliving his own memories to try and figure out what happened to his girlfriend that he loved, that he fell head over heels with, and she essentially was just using him, at least starting out as just using him.
For all 6 months.
Yeah. So that whole aspect of it, I think they did nicely. But he tortured the guy who ended up killing his girlfriend at the time, I guess, ex-girlfriend, who knows what they are, tortured him and made him relive his worst memory and kept him in that moment repeatedly, which essentially was him being burned alive. And he was just feeling that pain over and over again, which is illegal, apparently. So he goes to kind of
surprising. Like, with this kind of power this machine has, that is akin to torture.
Yes, it is.
The guy feels he's being burned alive continuously until his body collapses.
And his heart could essentially stop and his mind would collapse.
Yeah.
And shocker, this all goes around the female from the beginning of the movie, who was one of the first people that we see go into the reminiscence chamber, because she had a kid with one of the barons, as they called them, who basically bought up a whole bunch of land when it was dirt cheap because of the flooding. Mm-hmm. And he was the super wealthy, had an affair with this woman, had a kid, and then the baron died. The son found out about the kid because I think the baron actually told him. The son hired the hitmen to find her and kill her and the son, or her son.
Her son, yeah, not the son that was
not the son who's, because he didn't want to share the fortune.
Mm-hmm.
And that's essentially what caused Rebecca Ferguson's character to betray Hugh Jackman, because she was contracted by essentially the hitman, and all that kind of went there. So Hugh Jackman figures it out, goes back to the Baron's house, and the Baron's son pulls the gun on Hugh Jackman and looks like he's going to kill him. And Hugh Jackman just basically just bitch slaps him with words. And the Baron's son didn't have balls for it, so he didn't kill him. I think the movie should have ended with Hugh Jackman dying, and the murder of Hugh Jackman is also what caused the Barons to basically collapse. I feel like it would have been a more poetic finish because let's be honest, he didn't want to live without Rebecca Ferguson anyway. So I think it would have
true. I mean,
I think it would have been a solid ending for him through his character arc, having his last job or investigation to be sacrificing his own life to avenge the murder of, his girlfriend and this boy's mom as well. But no, he gets arrested, and his punishment is very special. He gets put into the reminiscence chamber, and he gets to relive the happiest moments of his life, which is basically his relationship for 6 months, for the rest of his life until he dies. And that's where the movie completely fucking lost me. Because you have a man who's not eating anything, not drinking anything, who's surviving for how many years, Tyler? How many fucking years was he in that chamber when we saw him at the end?
Gotta be at least 10, 15 years old. I mean, his partner has partially gray hair. He has gray hair on his beard.
Full gray.
Yeah.
Full gray. But guess what? He's still ripped as shit. He's still ripped as shit because he must be hitting the fucking gym in his mind and eating well, because he's not dead. He didn't die of starvation or dehydration. He's
not a frail body either.
Nope. So if you're going to go balls to the wall like that, you got to show that dramatic change. I don't care if you fucking did a face swap and put him on some like old sickly person. That would have been more believable.
What you'd think for a budget around 70 million, they could do a couple, like just a few
Yeah.
minutes of special effects to make his body look weaker.
Yeah. Or do
Body
some of the
double, anything.
yeah, or do some of the OG horror movie stuff where basically they create a fake body and then they just have a cutout where his head goes into. Something like that.
See, I didn't mind him being in it forever because, I mean, I think the movie showed, I think pretty well, that he had an addiction to her and to the relationship. So I didn't mind that, but I do agree with you. How they showed the passage of time was lazy.
Yes.
It was very thrown together. It feels like they didn't put a lot of effort into it. Like, all right, obviously everyone gets gray hair to show passage of time, but then, like you said, like his body looks like how it just went in. Like, really?
Yeah, it's a little lazy, a little dumb. That's why I think him dying would have actually been the more poetic ending, especially to like a noir styled film. I feel like it would have fit
Yeah.
a lot better.
Well, I wonder if they went with this ending because, yeah, it's a noir film, but they want to be like futuristic about it. And you have this machine that makes the film special. Obviously, you have to use the machine in the end, right?
You don't have to.
Well, I don't think you have to, but I think that's what they are going for, right? Like, this is a noir film, but it's in the future, and we have this one piece of tech that stands out, and they wanted to use it as a part of the conclusion of the film, which I think they did by torturing the guy to death by making him feel he's on fire. I don't feel you need to use it twice.
Correct. Wasn't that that method also made illegal after too?
The reminiscence machine after Hugh Jackman?
Yeah.
I don't think so. Because already what he did was illegal. He knew that, and that's why he confessed to his crimes.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like they needed to make a new law over what he did. He knew what he did was wrong. That's why his partner, when he was like telling it to her in front of those people, she's like, well, clearly you're joking about this, and like laughing it off because like you wouldn't actually do this. This is a serious crime.
Oh, Hugh Jackman goes all the way.
Yeah. I do wish though for the obsession, one thing they could have improved the film on is they could explain why Hugh Jackman was so obsessed with her.
Yeah.
Like I say 6 months relationship, but it was under a year more or less. Like this wasn't like a long-term 3 to 4 years of like her getting the information she needs, ripping him off and falling in love. It was just a few months.
It's true.
And he was willing to just throw away a partner, his life, the work they did together just to get answers. And even when he does, when he gets revenge, he's basically just done living.
Essentially, which is why I think him dying would have been best.
No,
it would have been a more satisfying ending.
But I just feel like,
yeah. But listen, man, some people get that way. Some people, when they fall in love, they got tunnel vision.
I'm fine with it being that way for his character. I just feel like the director and the writer, like they should have gone more into why, like throughout the film during the investigation. If we can get glimpses more into his past, onto why he's clinging on to this so much.
Yeah.
Because by the way, I think we kind of forgot to mention, like the partner kind of had a thing for him as well. Like it wasn't just this was the only girl he has met in years. No, if he was open to other possibilities, partner wanted to have a life with him as well. Like there were people that cared about him, but he just kept running. If they explained why, would have made a much stronger character. Because like I think Hugh Jackman did good acting in his film. He's usually a great actor. I don't remember his name.
Oh shit, you're right.
I don't know the name of this guy. This is just the noir Hugh Jackman guy. All right. The only difference between him and Prisoners is in Prisoners he has a slightly bigger beard over depending on what part of the film. That's it.
Oh yeah, and he's a fucking savage in Prisoners.
I know he kind of became a little bit of the savage toward the end when he's torturing that guy and yelling at him, just a little bit.
Yeah, but Prisoners is just a great film overall. I think the name of this movie is a little not accurate for what the movie actually is. Reminiscence. I think it should have been Hugh Jackman is the simp, because essentially he was just crying over this girl the entire fucking movie.
No, just having big bold letters on the poster.
The simp.
Summer 2021.
coming this summer. Hugh Jackman is the simp. Some people can forget about love, but not him.
Uh, yeah, I think Warner Brothers has had a tough year.
They
Um,
definitely have.
and it kind of sucks because like this movie could have been one of their standout hits,
Yeah.
and it's not a bad film, but it's got noticeable issues.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we're talking a lot of shit on how Warner Brothers is hurt, but at least Suicide Squad was good.
And Godzilla
But
versus Kong.
yeah, box office wise, I don't think either of them did that well. But
Godzilla did, and that's about it.
yeah, so I know Suicide Squad they took a giant L on, but having some solid movies will build them back up for when people are more comfortable going out watching movies out at theaters and shit like that.
Yeah, I guess. But yeah, overall, I think if Warner Brothers wants to look at this idea more, I think a HBO Max series set in this world would actually get some traction.
Yeah, I could see that.
I think if you have a case or if you want to show other parts of America, because they show this was set in Florida. This was Florida is
Yeah.
obviously part of
How
it.
about how about the war? Have a TV series about the
Yeah.
war.
Yeah, have a mini series based on the war that by the end of it you get to this what we see in this movie. Like yeah, we're you know shitting on the movie a bit because it has issues, but the idea they have here is solid. They just
It
need
is.
to work on it.
I think the movie should have went through another round of screenplay adjustments
Yeah.
because they had a solid idea. They had a solid vision for what the world should look like,
Mm-hmm.
and the whole atmosphere of the movie is on point. It's just it's kind of the meat and potatoes they kind of skipped out on,
Yeah.
which is honestly disappointing. But
So what you're saying is the dressing is all good.
yes,
Okay.
the dressing and the sides are A1.
And then yeah, the meat and potatoes.
It's a
turns
little
out
skimpy.
from a food court buffet.
Yeah, pretty much.
It looks good at first, but when you taste it, ugh.
Yep. Ain't all that, Chief. Ain't all that in a bag of chips. But
Well,
Tyler, would you?
What?
You beat me to it.
All right. Well, I'm going to recommend
one.
it. I'm going to recommend it, but with the caveat, you have to like noir films to begin with. If you like a slow burn movie and noir films, watch it. If you're looking for anything with excitement, do not waste your time.
Yeah, I would have to. As much as it pains me to say it, I'd recommend it solely just so you all can witness the world building they did and how fantastic it is, and just the whole essence of the movie. It's got such a nuance to it that really kind of pulls you into it. And it's a shame that the story doesn't deliver, but you guys can make that assumption for yourself because it is a great investigative movie. It just kind of lacks in certain areas, specifically the third half.
Who knows? Maybe when you watch it, maybe you think the ending is fitting for the characters and we were wrong. Maybe.
Yeah. And if you guys think that, feel free to let us know. Tell us how we're completely dumb in the comments on our YouTube page, or you can send us a message on Instagram, Facebook. As always, we look forward to hearing from you.